You're first. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. Um, today's live stream is just going to be kind of talking about warm weather's finally here. Um, we're going to try to stay live as much as possible throughout while we've got all this warm weather. And but when we're not live, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening to cars and everything else. What's going on, Chairman? We're going to stay busy. We are going to stay busy as we always have. Yeah, I know. Well, hello. Oh, Rosie. I honestly did not know you were in one of the same Facebook groups that I was in, and I did not know that, Rosie, until like just a few days ago. But I've been so doggone busy. I had something come across my desk. I'm gonna definitely have to tackle something. For those who don't know, I also have a TikTok channel as well, and I use it mostly to promote the Prince Magnum channel. Well, I'm taking a stand. Something that my generation has been asked to deal with, so I'll be taking a stand on it with the rest of my generation. Yeah, I know Zelda scares the frick out of me when she does her thing. So I'll be doing a video kind of diving into that. I've already kind of started the beginnings of it, so it's definitely going to be, it's going to be interesting. For the record, I'll let you all know, kind of a heads up. It's been all over the media, and the media is kind of beside themselves because of how my generation acted. I am a Generation Xer. I'll let y'all take that in a moment. I know there's a few of you in here that are Generation Xers. And being Generation Xers, we have our middle fingers out at the rest of the world, but we're not going to talk a whole lot about that. But I am going to go over some stuff that a lot of you kind of... Thank you, honey. And real quick, for those that are fairly new to the channel, because, I know more and more people probably going to start sneaking in from TikTok, because I did one probably a couple days ago that was really hilarious because I had to basically set the records, set some stuff straight for young. Actually, Chairman, I know you're just a couple years older than me. You're a Generation Xer. How you doing, Ian? Good to see you, buddy. How you doing? So we are definitely, we're definitely getting, Prince Magnum is finally weighing in on that culture. Ian, I'll send you some of what's going on right now with my generation here in the United States. I think, Ian, you might, Ian, what year were you born? Just give me a year. Because they keep trying to change, when the Generation Xers were actually born. So it's going to be a little dicey. But, Chairman, I know you and I are pretty well the same age. So you're in the same age group as I am here in the U.S. So it's one of those deals that I think, for the most part, Ian, I think you're like 4 years younger than me. If that's the case, you're still kind of at that cut. 15, 21, okay. Well, you are from the UK, so you're kind of living the future, 6 hours ahead of me, so it wouldn't surprise me if you were from the future. But I've got to do a breakdown video. Hey, what's going on, Rodney? Good to see you. But basically, I did one video where there was over on TikTok where there was this gal being kind of harassed by some Generation Zers, and it was a actually a young lady, pretty well the same age as Princess Faye, in that kind of that age group. Hey, what's going on, Elias? Welcome to the live stream, my friend. Uh, so there's that whole thing that basically you had somebody who was getting kind of had their getting their chops busted, 20 28 years old, and I mean, well, I think she's 26, 27, maybe 28. And, I commented on one of her videos, and it was one of those deals that, she came back with a video. It wasn't like she did said anything bad, but, I made a comment in a positive light, and she did a whole video on my positive comment towards, for her. What's going on, Pinkers? Chairman, you might have to get in touch with me. I could probably walk you through something that simple. I mean, it's, you know, I think it's probably easier than you think. It's just a lot of times dealing with what you deal with, that sort of thing. Oh, you came by to say hello, Elias. Well, I appreciate you sneaking by. Appreciate that, buddy. Appreciate you dropping a like and all that good stuff. So, I mean, there's like this big thing going on TikTok. So I'll be diving into, that my generation is actually kind of, here in the United States, it was like this whole cancel culture movement right now it's almost out of hand, but it's targeting two specific generations, and it's very laughable because my particular generation, they're not messing with. No one's really messing with us. And reason being is it's all the kids of my generation. It used to be fully run by China, but it was bought out basically by Walmart. Yeah, I knew that, Jeremy. Thank you, Ian. Yeah, it's with the YouTube algorithms, you might want to stick around a little bit. Um, you might want to stick around a little bit because sometimes YouTube likes to take away likes if you don't stay very long. So do yourself a favor, stick around for a few minutes, chit chat for a few minutes if you have the opportunity. If you're in a dead hurry, you just want to poke in. Hey man, was thinking of you, seen you went live. I'm actually walking out the door. Hey, I get it. It's all good. It's one of those. I mean, I get that. I mean, life happens whether you like it or not. But you know, if you can stick around. But basically, so I'm kind of weighing in on that. It's going to be an interesting video project where I get to kind of do a little bit of talking. And I come from a generation that's very anti-establishment, and I am still so anti-establishment myself growing up in the 80s and the 90s, because I can still hear some of the stuff that my parents were talking about when they were growing up, and some of the friends that I made that were older from the time that they grew up. I'm very anti-establishment, and that might even explain why I choose to have a car that is nearly 50 years old. Um, so because of that, I'm very anti-establishment, very anti-establishment. But really quick, Ian, time for a cigarette. Really quick, Project Spirit. We got a lot going on with her right now. Basically, as the title says, we got some stuff that I'll be filming and kind of going over, but I'm going to kind of touch base on a couple of different things with Project Spirit, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what you're going to kind of expect to see filmed here in the very near future. I have one scene to film on. Part of it deals with basically it deals with kind of getting Project Spirit ready for the car show season. So I've got a lot of stuff that's going to be kind of going on there. For those that do not know, now with kind of everything here in the U.S. still kind of opening back up a little bit and everything, Project Spirit is a 5-time trophy winner for car shows. Not a joke. Project Spirit's a trophy winner. That's my trophy car. Um, as a matter of fact, her very first car show she was ever at brought home a trophy. I think tradition usually has it when it's not uncommon when she goes to her first car show, which that's actually coming up where we'll be doing that. So I got to start putting in for my time off that day. But in a nutshell, Project Spirit is my trophy, my trophy car winner. All right. Um, she has 5 trophies in 9 car shows, and so we're back on the hunt. We wanted to do that last year, but the pandemic put a halt to a lot of stuff. I mean, a big halt to a lot of stuff. And we wanted to go to car shows. We did show up for one car show last year. We were going to live stream from that car show, get a lot of video footage. But we had a lot of people that were basically like, well, previous generation who kind of sissied out on us. So I rushed out after work to get to a car show, had a couple hours to show Project Spirit in that car show. But by the time we got there, they'd already had let out an hour early, did the trophies and everything early, and all the proceeds were supposed to go to autism awareness, which was bullshit. So I was really pissed off about that. So I would never, basically the autism awareness, no offense, but I will not do another car show for you guys ever again after that stunt. Basically to rush out there and not have you guys not there. I was ticked. I was ticked. I won't do that again. So we got to get Project Spirit ready for car shows. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we're going to be swapping out to kind of get ready for the car show season. That's pretty much it. And if you forgot, smoke them if you got them. So let's double check because I haven't seen the chat move in a second. Okay. Oh, there we go, everybody. Sorry about that. There is a lot of you that were talking and... Oh, okay. Let's back up a little bit. All right, real quick. Oh my goodness. All right, real quick. Let's start with Rodney's question. What generation am I? I'm a Generation Xer. Real quick. We'll just go inside so I can work a little bit. Put space trying out the new Pokemon Sword Shield. Sorry, my chat was not moving, so we're going to kind of play catch up for a second. Now, to answer the first question, my generation is Generation X, or sometimes I'm referred to as a Generation Xer. Now, for those that do not know, calm down, we're not going to bed here. No, that's not what I'm looking for. I have no idea where it is. Screw it, we'll deal with it as the night goes on. But really quick, for those that do not know, I was in the year 1979. Now, there's been a lot of play with the generations, the years that they were born, and we're going to turn the clock back before this one institute messed with it. And when I say messed with the generations, they literally took out an entire generation that did nothing. And it was actually a generation between the baby boomers and Generation X. When they talked about our generation, because there's a lot of talk about it all over the news right now, my generation, with the cancel culture going on here in the United States, there has been a big movement from Generation Z, which is the new current generation entering the job market. But there's a big talk about that, that particular generation. Honey, have you seen my vape lately? Yeah, if you don't mind taking a quick gander, if you got a moment. Thought I thought it was here in the bedroom, but I guess I'm losing my mind because I don't want to be smoking up all my cigarettes.
Go sit down.
All right.
Go.
Yes, dear. But so there's been a lot of talk about that um, because of the cancel culture and the media right now fearing for their jobs has turned to my generation to put a stop to it. So that's kind of what's going on there. Um, so yeah, I'm a Gen Xer. And you're at. By the way, hi Megan. So we're kind of getting caught up. The generation. So I'm the generation before the millennial generation. Okay. Oh, hey Raven. Hi J Dog. My goodness. All righty. Oh, you're the best.
I know. Thank you.
um. So wow. Yeah, I'll be all right. No, that's great right there.
Right,
Yeah,
right
we
there?
good. Yeah,
Okay.
that's perfect.
I just want
You're the
people to be
best.
able to see your gorgeous face.
We're working on a new ring light that kind of help me stream like you're seeing right now. Nah, I leave the light on. Yeah, we'll tinker fuck with it a little bit more. So, um, so if you guys have ever wondered why I'm so insistent on driving the car that I do and things like that, because I'm anti Generation X is known for its anti-establishment. We are so anti-establishment. There's now even talk now where even millennials are even sitting there saying, "Get yourself a Gen X friend." But kind of a heads up, they will tell you to fuck off regularly. And it's like, yeah, a lot of my generation has their entire middle finger out at the rest of the world. And that's just kind of how it is. Raven, if I didn't say it, which I think I did, there you go. Took Cadillac down last year. I'll tell you all right now when it comes to maintaining a car, uh, every 6 months you should pretty well take it down and have it gone through. Do a tune-up. Do a tune-up. Now, even if you've got a modern vehicle, you should still at least do that once a year. What does a tune-up involve? It involves plugs, wires. If it has a distributor cap and rotor bug, you should do air filter, fuel filter if you could get to it. Um, I no, I didn't miss your comment, did I? Oh, StreamYards. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ian. StreamYards. I do have it. I just got to learn how to use it. That's all. I've not ever really used it, so I'm kind of new to it. But yes, I do. I do have it. I just got to learn how to use it. Then I got to hook a camera up to it and everything. That's not really hard. I've got tons of cameras that'll work just fine. But it's one of those things, you know. Sorry about that, Ian. I didn't. You know. Wow. Sorry about all that. Um, so I'm kind of carrying on like three different, you know, carrying on three trains of thought all at once. Um, so in a nutshell, I'm kind of going to be filming a lot of that. Okay, the years. uh, Okay, there's a new that came out like a couple of years ago, and maybe a little bit more longer than that, where they redrew the lines for the generations. And quite literally, and I'll go ahead and kind of give you guys the inside track for it. Um, they redrew the lines for the generations, and there was literally one generation that was kind of folded over into the baby boomers. Yes, most definitely, Ian. Princess Faye is actually playing Pokemon Sword and Shield right now, while kind of lurky turkey in the stream. But the generational lines, I'm going to give you the one that we know before they started redrawing the lines. Okay, the the generation that dealt with the dealt with the world wars. They dealt with basically the Depression and the Second World War. Sometimes they're called the silent generation. Sometimes they're called, there's several different names for it. Honestly, I just call them I just call them the World War II generation. And those are the ones that lived through, in some way, shape, or form, the Depression or the Second World War. They were born in that time frame or they lived through it. That's my grandparents' generation, okay? If you had grandparents that lived through that time frame where they were born during the Depression or they were born during the Second World War, that is a World War II generation right there. They were the ones that had to kind of carry on the traditions of what was kind of left over after the First World War. Then you get to actual baby boomers. Now, the joke about the baby boomers is your World War II veterans returning home forgot their parachutes. So there was a large influx in population, which is why they kind of got their own, they got their own generation. And that generation starts in around 1946 and ends in 1958. So my dad is actually a baby boomer. Now, they redrew the lines, like I said, a few years back, and they extended that all the way up until 1964, but that's accurate, okay? Because in between the time is like, from 1959 to about 1969, about 10 years, there's actually a forgotten generation, and a generation that I literally call the forgotten generation, or sometimes you'll hear me even refer to as the disco bunny generation, because during the time when they were teenagers and they lived through kind of that disco era, and really kind of a transitional point between Gen Xers and the baby boomers. Okay, so and literally they did so little in that time frame, just because of the changes that were going around during that time frame, that literally this university, when they redrew the lines, they purposely cut them out and kind of folded them over into baby boomers and folded them over into the other part over into Generation X. And then literally they cut out like 4 years. They kind of you're kind of in the ballpark, kind of. And then they folded them over into Gen X's, and then they literally cut out 4 years of Generation X. So I'm going to be going into a video where those lines are redrawn properly back to the way they were, because we don't want them. We don't want them. That's literally my mother's. They literally put her in a baby boomer era, and no. The baby boomers were Vietnam, the ones that lived through Vietnam, the civil rights movement, the original, what some people might call the LGBT plus changes. Today, that's what we would call it, but that's not even accurate. The hippie dippies. Okay, yeah. And the hippies. Now, real quick, when you start talking about baby boomers, what they did do a lot. They really did do a lot, but middle-age burnout started kicking in. And when a lot of the baby boomers made it to corporate America and to politics, they really kind of screwed over 2 generations. We'll get to that in a moment. We'll go into more detail in the video, but I'll give you kind of a heads up. But we'll extend Generation X a little bit, depending on what type of upbringing. Awesome sauce. All right, Chairman, you go rest up, brother. But basically, around 1970 is when my generation began, and it did not end until 1984. So if you were not born in this badass generation, you missed out. We were the kids of the 1970s, 1980s. I was a teenager in the 1990s. Okay, so my generation literally went through. Okay, Rodney, technically, you are a Generation Xer by the old definition. But by the new lines drawn, you're considered a millennial. I'm redrawing those lines. You're rejoining your generation. Okay. They pulled you out. No, they don't have, no one has the right to pull you out of such a badass generation. Yeah. Yeah. The lines were redrawn where they made you a millennial. And I know you lived enough of the analog generation. That's bullshit. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, we're redrawing those lines back the way they were. Yeah, you probably didn't know that, did you? You didn't know that. Okay. Well, don't worry. We'll square it away. We'll redraw the lines back. Yeah, you probably didn't even know that, did you? All right, real quick. Megan, you can probably, you being born in 86, you're the first part of the millennial age. So thankfully, you had just enough of what I call the analog age, that you're in the millennial age, Raven. Night Raven, you're in the millennial age. So starting in 1985 all the way up until 1997, you are 1985. You're technically on the cusp, Ian. You don't claim it. I wouldn't either. And we'll go into more detail in the video. But Ian, you're technically right on the cusp where things started changing. Now, here in the United States, well, I don't know how it is overseas, over in the Grand UK, but here in the United States, it's yeah. My generation is probably the most anti-establishment in the world. We have our middle finger out at everybody. Man, stop me if I'm wrong. With a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world, your husband, Rodney, will tell you, I don't have enough middle fingers for the bullshit. I'm waiting for, oh God, yes. I'm waiting for it. Watch. She's heard me talking about this, doing this video and everything. She's not a big fan of it. There you go. See, Rodney? I'm sorry I outed you there, brother. Oftentimes, my generation is also called the latchkey generation. No. You know better than that, honey. I don't. The millennial age does get a bad rap. You guys really do. I'm sorry, you guys do. But you got to remember that my generation was helping raise the millennial. Yep, I figured as much. Rodney. No, we're gonna blur the lines a little bit more in this video. Why did the millennial age? The millennial age actually did get screwed over in this country. It's an entire age, and I know where to blame. Basically, yeah, 80, 88, yeah. Sorry, Pinky. Here in the United States, you would still fit into the millennial age. But thankfully, until around 1990, most early millennial Generation X mindset here in the United States. Again, I don't know what it's like over in the UK or any other part of the world. I just know what it's like here in the US. And let me give you an idea. I had a little friend. See, here in the US, we lived through, us Generation Xers, we lived through the Cold War. We had literal nukes pointed at us. Okay. My buddy Timmy back in school, our parents always told us, they got nukes pointed at us. And Timmy, he went down to the grocery store. Oh no, honey, we love you just the way you are. Okay. And little Timmy went down and said he walked down to the grocery store and he never came back. That's because, my parents told me he was nuked. No, I'm teasing about that, really. No. But here in the United States, my generation lived through the Cold War. We lived through the disco era. We lived through, the changes. We still here in the United States, we still had talk. Rodney, you remember this. There was still a lot of talk about Vietnam. There was a lot of that stuff. Okay, a lot of that stuff still going on. So for us, we grew up with the aftermath of the civil rights movement. Hey, what's going on, Augie man? So still ringing in our ears was don't trust anyone over the age of 30. So we became very anti-establishment here in the United States. We're also part of the MTV generation. Okay. We even lived through grunge. Yes. Yes. We came in. I was born in 1979. The Cold War was still a thing. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, Rodney. And my generation has their middle finger up at the entire world. Um, that being said, literally, my generation was helping raise the millennial age while we were still kids. Let me give you an idea. I was helping babysit my brother, who technically still fits. He was born in '84. I was helping babysit my brother. I would come home from school at 8, 9, 10 years old. I would get a key out, open the door. My brother and I would come in, lock the door behind us. I knew where supper was. It was in the microwave, and I was putting supper on the table at 7 o'clock in the evening. At the age of 9, 10 years old. I mean, I did stuff like that all the way up until the age of 16. I did that. So that should tell you what kind of a generation that I came from. That whole thing. Kids used to know when to come home when the freaking street lights came on. We knew we had to get inside at that time. Give you an idea. If you've ever seen the movie E.T., Steven Spielberg's E.T., the extraterrestrial, when the kids are all walking around the neighborhood on Halloween in their Halloween costumes with no parents. Exactly. So we literally were helping raise an entire generation. And then but bear in mind, we're still the most anti-establishment generation. So yeah, I know they basically asked the right question. So today, when you hear me talk about the greatness of cars before the digital age, that's why. Because I do not like fuel injection, Sam, I am. What generation am I from? I'm 41 years old, and I will tell you, I do not have enough middle fingers for the rest of the world. I don't. I could have 50 of them and it wouldn't be enough. Because about the time I was hitting the workforce, this is not a joke. By the time I was 25, my generation was being told that we were really no longer necessary. We come from an analog age, and it was the new digital age. So around 2005, we were being pushed aside for the next generation. And that next generation, the reason why we were told that is by the forgotten generation and the baby boomers. That's who was telling us that. The ones in corporate America. They were telling us that. To give you an idea how easy it was to sweep my generation aside. By the time I'm 31, yeah, actually, Raven, if your mom is 72, be thankful you have a Gen Xer mom. And I've heard your mom talk before. Now it's starting to, it's like, yep, that's badassery right there in a nutshell. I'm telling you right now, your mom, I listen to your mom, and your mom is cool as heck. I mean, your mom and I could have hung together, at one time, because of the fact that she doesn't take, right now, Raven, Big question. If you were to ask your mom what she kind of thought of the world, she's like, I don't have enough middle fingers. The entire world can go, F off right now. Right now. I could care less. Even though there's an entire pond, giant pond separating us, I can guarantee your mom probably has a middle finger out for the whole world. Fair enough, Ian. Okay, so really quick, I already got these gapped and ready to go. You got me started. You got me on a ramp. Be careful doing that shit. Dangerous, dangerous. See, your mom's got bad. All righty, really quick. Project Spirit. These are her spark plugs. These are her plugs. Well, the ones that'll be going into her engine. Now, the gap that you see here. Really quick. Fucking shit. All right, I'm gonna grab a. Y'all got me on a rant. You gotta be careful doing that shit, motherfucker. I'm pissed off. I don't even have a reason I'm pissed off. Anyhow, basically, this piece here will hook onto a distributor cap, which is underneath the hood of Project Spirit. And we'll go into detail a lot more when we go to do the actual video, which I've already been working on. And then this boot will basically clip onto here. Now, as this little bug, what we call a rotor bug, this little piece inside the distributor turns, kind of following the engine, and placed in the order will depend on how the electricity gets to the spark plug, which is the firing order. So the electricity will then travel through here to this end right here, and then up through the inside through basically a copper core, and depending on what type of vehicle you got will depend on what the core is, and then travel right to this end. Then the spark will jump off and basically be dissipated through the engine, if you will. There's actually a ground strap that connects the engine to the body, and there's your neutral connection. Without that ground strap, your engine will not run right. By the way, most modern engines today will have numerous ground straps with all the electrical devices that's connected to your engine. If one of these straps goes bad, your engine will run very lousy very quickly. So mine only has one. It only needs one. Okay? So that is how that dissipates itself. So when the spark jumps, at the same time the piston is coming up, squeezing the fuel and air together inside of a combustion chamber inside your cylinder head or heads, and basically at the precise moment, or as precise as you can get it on a system like this, the spark will then ignite that fuel and air, pushing the piston back down, generating power. Okay? Now, over time, carbon, motor oil, just a little bit of everything will kind of gum up this end. Okay? No matter how precise you get it, you're still going to get this. It'll gum up this end a little bit, and then general wear and tear will also kind of wear down the ends of these. So you're not getting the best bang for your buck. Now, by changing these every 6 months, it brings that consistency back to your engine, where it burns the fuel a lot better. So you want to do this every 6 months. Now, for modern day fuel injection, I know they will go by mileage and things like that. We're going to make this real easy. Change it with modern day fuel injection. You want to still at least do it once a year. I know that seems a little extreme because for modern vehicles, these are very expensive. How much will you spend? Well, to give you an idea, I bought 6 of them because Project Spirit's 6-cylinder is a, she's a 6-cylinder. For these, for just regular old Motorcraft copper core spark plugs for, say, Project Spirit 6-cylinder, I spent maybe $2.99 per spark plug. Rodney. Don't get lazy on me. Don't get lazy on me now, Rodney. But about basically $3, $3 US, which in the UK would be cheaper, but $3 US for each one of these. You can do the math. It's really not that much. The plug wires, though, gets a little expensive because plug wires aren't just plug wires like we used to have back in the old days. Today, you'll now spend about $30 for 6 of them. A couple, a little bit more than that, closer to 40, $50. Awesome, Raven. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Don't worry, I'll be sure to ninja you later. So, because of that, because of that, and by the way, Project Spirit doesn't just have 6 plug wires. She actually has 7. Oh no, North Star V8s. All right, Raven. Way to go. Way to steal that like button. Run off with it like a bandit. So every 6 months, these have to be done in Project Spirit. But the technology, even in these, have changed so much. They look totally different than what they used to from back in the day. So you spend a little bit more money for that tech. I can live with that. Really quick, more and more, you're finding that I will avoid getting. I've been doing it for a while, but more so as time has gone on. I avoid getting stuff for Project Spirit. If I have no choice, then fine. But I spend a lot of time making sure that the parts come from North America for Project Spirit. And when I say North America, that's Canada, Mexico, and the United States. If it comes from South America, okay, fine, I'll live with it. If it comes from Europe, hey, that's great. Yeah, that does surprise me, Rodney. Does surprise me. I could take you out to Project Spirit's engine bay, and there is engine bay. I could probably lay down inside of it and go to sleep. There's that much room in there. I could just about do that. There's so much room in there. So in a nutshell, talking about putting the spark into the engine. What else is entailed in a tune-up, which I've already begun it. I'm just filming it. If I think it'll make quality content, we might see about going out early Thursday, and I'll just live stream changing the spark plugs. It's ridiculously easy. There's really nothing to it. Oh God, it's so easy. It's so freaking easy. One freaking bolt or nut to remove the air cleaner. All you need is a socket wrench to change your spark plugs. You might need a swivel or an extension, but other than that, there's nothing to it. And I could give you an idea, badassery at its finest. If I can find the motherfucker. I think I got it. We'll find out in a second. Oh, I'm talking about early in the morning. Oh, wow. Okay. Somewhere in this rack-a-frackin' mess, but this will give you an idea here. This is the spark plug socket for that'll work on Project Lena. Not a joke. This is it. Okay? Apples to apples, folks. So you'll notice a lot of stuff on those old cars is big, it's bulky, but there's a reason why it is. Because it holds up better. Just in the spark plug alone, that should tell you. Again, that's not apples to apples. That's not hooking on there. It won't go on there. Oh, real quick, the one that I was holding right here, that'll work on Chevy small blocks through a good part of the 70s, well into the 80s, and into the 90s for Chevy small blocks, if you find that interesting. Go further back than that, spark plug. Be right back, about to eat dinner. All right, all right. So that should give you an indication. Really quick, would you guys like to see the mileage on Project Spirit right now? I think we can do it. I know we can do it. I'm going down to Project Spirit real quick. And smoke them if you got them. We could do up to three lives. Hey, Mikey G. Good to see you, buddy. Love you, baby. All right, we're still live. Kind of had a little buffer in there. There, we'll just do it now, Ian, just for you. For those that don't know, this is Project Lena. For those that don't know, this is Project Lena. Project Lena is a 2003 Pontiac Grand Am GT. About the newest vehicle I have ever, even Princess A and I have ever had. So, this is her. Oh, real quick, Ian, spoiler alert. We'll have to clean her up a little bit. So there you go. All right, over here, Project Spirit. Yes, Zelda. Oh, look. Zelda. Okay. There you go. We are less than 5,000 miles to go before the odometer turns over for the third time in its life. For those that do not know what I'm talking about, Project Spirit is coming up on 300,000 miles on her original six-cylinder. By the way, it's very rare you see a Maverick with a speedometer that goes this high. That's 120 miles an hour. She'll go faster than that. Not much, but she'll go faster than that. There you go. The original six-cylinder. Still there. Still there. I'm going to have a cigarette, guys, real quick, while we're kind of chilling out, wang chilling. All right. Thank you so much. I see a total of 8 likes. There's probably more than that. Screw you, YouTube. But I've already changed out the distributor cap, which is literally a screw on this side and a screw on that side. So I did a lot of screwing right there. And then over here, that's where the spark plugs go in on the engine. And I just replaced that breather. About once a year, I replace that breather that's on the back of the engine. But that's pretty much it. There's really nothing to this engine. So literally, you have a lot of room on this side and a lot of room on this side. There's your alternator. And that's the exhaust manifold that we swapped out. So still looking pretty good. Still looking pretty good. And, of course, the air cleaner. Literally, right in the middle. That's it. That's all you need to get under, to get that thing open. Yep. Just replace that, the PCV filter. Well, PCV valve, I'm sorry, PCV valve. And that connects directly into the carburetor. So there's gases that build up inside your engine, and you basically use that little valve to pump it back in to your engine where it burns it, basically burns it, and it doesn't hurt nothing. But that's pretty much the engine. There's really not a whole lot to it. Oh, real quick, the overflow. What overflow bottle? There is no overflow bottle. We didn't care about the environment back then, so they just... They're there. They're there. Don't worry. Back here is the master cylinder. No power brakes. So I have to push down really hard to stop this car. They're all there. YouTube's just being a peckerwood about it. But they're there. Don't worry. So that's it. That's literally it. Yep. Hi, Pinky. There you go. We replaced the water pump a few years back. Well, we did it when we had the timing chain done, which laughably, the timing chain just meaning wood for the engine. Actually, I wanted to make, if we were going to keep the car stick, I wanted to actually make Project Spirit. I wanted to make her, I wanted to have a wooden shift knob, but that's, yeah. Now, Ian likes to bring up the rust that's coming up back here. And it didn't used to be this bad, but it's getting bad. That's basically surface rust right here. Okay, that's just surface rust. Now, what we actually have to do is we're going to have to remove the entire deck lid. And when we remove the deck lid, or trunk lid, we're going to have to basically take it completely off of the car. And then we're going to have to sand the entire thing down to the bare metal. We'll have to use a rust treatment on the metal and then build it back up with primer and then hit it with real paint. You cannot leave these primered, folks, because that and that and that will start all over again. Then once we do this deck lid, the next section that I'll be starting on is I'll be starting in here because the rust, this is an actual rust hole where it's starting to kind of work its way through. All these cars are notorious for this rust here, here, and down over here, which is starting to do it over there too, starting to bubble a little bit. So that means we're going to have to get that dealt with. And then when we start in here, these corners will come off, and anywhere that, we might need to touch up on the rear taillight panel, or the rear valance, as it's sometimes called. What we're going to have to do basically is touch up anything. If we see anything that looks kind of sketchy, we'll take it back down to metal, prime it, paint it, and it's good to go. These will be done in the same color as the deck lid, and then we'll start working our way up the side to, say, across the top of the roof line. Any dents, dings, whatever, we're going to fill those in and get that taken care of. And as we're doing that, we'll even work over here on the other side a little bit because it's starting here now too. Okay? You can kind of see it. So we'll go with all of this, and basically this treated as one whole section. It'll take about 4 days to properly get it taken care of. And then once that's all dealt with, dents, dings that are up here as well, we'll also be taking care of them. We'll even work our way down to here, and that'll be pretty much the bulk of the body. Oh, actually, I've got a color already selected, and I'll get to that in a moment. Then, as we finish that up, doors will have to actually come off. Doors will come off, and the doors will be stripped down to their bare essentials. Any dents, dings, rust holes, gouges, whatever will be fixed. Because most people don't know this. That's actually where she was sideswiped in a parking lot, and the original owner had her. You can actually see where it even hit here, knocked out that tail. That's not the right 80s. So it's been like that since we've had the car. And then once we do that, we're going to pull the fenders. Basically, the doors will be next, and then we'll work our to the fenders. She needs a brand new grill. That's kind of a funny story I'll have to talk about sometime. And then basically work our way into here. So that's some of the things that we're looking at doing like soon. But once we get up to here, there's a debate whether or not we're going to put grabber hood scoops on her. We can do that. It won't hurt her none. We can put grabber scoops on her. There's also a debate if we're going to put the ducktail spoiler for the Maverick Grabber on her deck lid. We can. It's perfectly fine. There are reproductions out there. They're expensive as fuck, but they're out there. Real quick, this is an antenna. What you see today a lot of times on new cars is not an antenna, but this is an actual antenna for your radio. And then once we get this all squared away, one of the next things is she'll have to go into a shop and get her seats reupholstered, new carpet, all that stuff. She'll have to go get reupholstered and everything, and that sort of stuff. So that's kind of how it stands. Now, in the meantime, on Project Lena, she'll also be going through quite a few changes herself. Needs a new catalytic converter. We're having problems with this window again. We fixed that, and it's still acting up. It was rolling up and down, so that's actually a thing. So, yeah, she's, it's just one of those pain in the ass things. And we're going to start scrounging around and maybe see about some new custom wheels and some low profiles around Project Lena, which will be nice. While we're also at it, we're probably going to start looking at a few updates here and there to kind of enhance the performance that she already has. So there you have it. Now, I'm real quick to... When you start talking, slapping black paint on any vehicle that you're redoing, there is a problem. If you get one blemish, just one stinking blemish in that, in the body work, which it happens, it will show. Black paint, white paint, it will show up so badly that you might as well, it practically ruins the car. That's why I wasn't wasn't super huge on doing the flat black taillight panel. But I gave it a try. I'm pretty happy with that look. But we are going to be going with a nice dark blue gloss, not metallic, a gloss. The reason why we're going with a gloss is because that would have been commonplace. You wouldn't have seen a whole lot in the way of metallics on your customs back in the day. And we're kind of going a little retro on some stuff. So we'll do that, and then we're probably going to either go with a light blue pinstriping to kind of keep a touch of what she used to be, or we might go with a silver pinstripe or a white pinstripe. Something like that, that'll really break up and add a little flair to that blue. And of course, Princess Faye will be in charge of the pinstriping, because I am not that artistic. My God, I wish I could do half of what that woman does. It's amazing what my wife can do. I'm very fortunate. I mean, very artistic woman. But pinstripe, that is an idea, Ian. But imagine it on like a really dark blue. Let me give you an idea. Okay, a little bit darker than this, but in that color scheme, basically. And imagine that dark blue all over her body with a silver pinstripe. I'll let that sink in a moment. But your black paints and your white paints have a notorious habit that it's really hard to keep up with on those customs. Hey, Niagara, welcome. Good to see you. I'm doing fantastic. A little bit of car talk. Of course, I got a little off topic early in the stream, but hey, it is what it is. I was just outside showing off Project Spirit. Whenever I start that car, it's always sounds of the 70s. Well, it's good to see you too. Project Spirit. So basically right now we're just talking. There we go. I just showed off her odometer. Project Spirit is less than 5,000 miles to go. 5,000 miles, less than 5 5,000 miles to go. 5,000 miles, less than 5,000 miles to go. So, 1,000 all original miles on that old six cylinder. That's a lot of miles. That is a lot of miles on any vehicle. But for the record, there's a particular gentleman. But for the record, there's a particular gentleman that'll come in every now and again, and I'm actually friends with him. But he's like, there's no way that engine. He's like, where I live, I've never seen an inline six get past like 250,000. He's like, how is that even possible? I was like, you live up in the Rockies, brother. You live up in the Rocky Mountains. And Roy, those engines said, you can't escape physics, as you might say. And so where I live, you can get those six cylinders to last, 4, 5, and in some cases up to 1,000,000 miles. I know there's still some farms around the area where you can go and you'll find an old farm truck where the engine just keeps making it from one truck to another, and they just keep reusing that old engine. And the engine's never been rebuilt. You go out there, hit that key, she might smoke a little bit, but believe it or not, it'll start, it'll run, and it'll work around that farm just like it did all the way when it was brand new. And the engine's got well over 1,000,000 miles on it. Hell, they don't even keep track anymore. The engine just keeps going. You can't kill it. It'll keep going. And they'll work around the farm, they'll haul hay, whatever, and those old six cylinders, if well taken care of, they will last you a long time. But if you go up to somewhere like the Rocky Mountains or the Appalachian Mountains here in the United States, no, those engines aren't going to last. Not even none of them really do up in those directions for the most part. They really don't last. You might get lucky with fuel injection and get them all the way up to like 400,000, 500, but after that, you might as well hang it up. That's just kind of how it is. One of those things, man. So, it's good to see you, Meowgrid. I know Minion's probably busy as hell, running his butt off and everything. I seen a lot of your TikTok videos. I got caught up on them. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. Good stuff. I enjoyed it. It was definitely interesting. Hey, Ian, wood for the win. Be thankful it's not Cinnamon doing that, because every time she does it, you're like, no, just no, stop it. Real quick. Hey, Ian. I'll wait for this to sink in. Remember this? Oh, those cars in the 70s are cool as heck. I'm waiting for Ian to notice this little... Okay. And I still kind of every once in a while use them. But this is an actual camera mount that I built. Okay, this is an actual camera mount that I made from wood just like this. Okay, and basically I have these dash cams that we really don't use very often here on the channel. I've still got them, but we use them sparingly because they're pretty worn out. I've had them for like 4 or 5 years, but we use them for everything. Well, there's no regular mounts like, like this one here. So a lot of times it was interesting how we mounted them and made videos work back in the day. It was very renegade style. But then I got the idea one day, why don't I just make my own camera mount? So I went in behind, where I live here. There's a small wooden area that normally the city goes through and cuts everything down. Well, the problem is that because of the pandemic, that area has kind of grown up a little bit. So what I did was I went in behind that area, chopped down more or less the sapling tree that normally the city does themselves. And then I carved out this area. So literally the camera just sits right like that. Okay. And then where the camera lens is, basically it'll rest right there. So in order to actually get this spot right here, okay, to get this spot right here, what I had to do is I had to take this file right here and I laid it down right in that groove. You can literally see what I'm talking about. And I worked it back and forth with this file to get this little knock right here. So because I used this file on this block of wood, that must mean I am good at filing and should try my hand at being a secretary. Where's Sean when that joke is going on? I haven't done that joke in a little while. We used to do it all the time. There was. I think that's your first time hearing that joke. We used to do that one all the time here in the office. It's a classic joke here on the channel. There was. Ian just alone. It's been a while on that one, hasn't it, Ian? When last summer, when we would be outside working on something, yeah, I would take this drill right here and I would hold it kind of like that towards the camera, and I would, ring, and I said, "Don't worry, folks, it's only a drill." When we refurbished this axe, I would constantly say, "Can I ask you a question?" Stuff like that. We did that all last year. We're probably going to do a lot of that this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. But yeah. But yeah, literally, Ian was there whenever we redid this axe head, and it was all rusted up beyond belief, but we turned out nice, didn't it? And yes, I do use the dang thing. Use to chop down trees. Well, chop up wood. Wood for the win, right? Yep. I had a lot of fun doing that all last year. We're going to get back to that soon because, warm weather. So with warm weather, we've got a lot of side projects. We got to get ready for car show season. Folks, car show season. I got gypped out of car show season last year. Project Spirit was ready to go. But, oh yeah. Yep, can I ask you a question? Yeah, baby. Love you. So that's kind of the excitement there. Also, to help with the body work, ball peen hammers. How's the cats doing? Well, Taver is just Taver. He kind of does his own thing. And for those who don't know, Taver's my big cat that takes care of me when I have a PTSD flashback. I have a cat that's my service animal, if you will. He's amazing. He's a good cat. So Taver actually, he just kind of does his own thing, but he's a big boy. Galaxy, those two cats argue all the time. It's ridiculous how much those two cats argue. I've gotten to where I just let them go. As long as I don't see blood, I don't care. It's like my kids. Like, I don't want to, if I see any blood, I'm going to beat somebody's ass. All right? Like the kids, But, that's pretty good. I mean, really, we're going to finish refurbing this hammer, ball peen hammer. Yeah, we're going to bring it back to brass tacks. I've also got a sledgehammer over there. I don't need to do anything with it. Yeah, big snake. Got a menacing trouser snake. Matter of fact, we did some of that last year. I've also got video footage where I redid a hammer, and I'll have to put that up too. Put that up as urban survival. which we just did our first urban survival video, what, a couple weeks ago we did. And it turned out really nice. So, the baked bean episode. We've got a lot of stuff kind of in the making right now, but I got this one side project. And remember um, the one philosophical video about Project Spirit? That one's pretty well in the editor right now. I've just got to pull a little bit more video footage. That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm ready to rock and roll. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I'm excited. I'm just curious where it's going to go. But yeah. So we got a hammer to finish. We got lots of projects. And we're hoping to clear out some of that shelf where there's leftover parts for Project Spirit. Some of those parts is just on there just because I've got it as spares. I actually have spare parts for Project Spirit. I get tired of whenever I go into like AutoZone, O'Reilly's. I don't have much to do with Advanced Auto. Sorry for those of you that work at Advanced Auto. I've had a few bad experiences. Even right here in my neck of the woods, I've had a few bad experiences. So I don't deal with you guys very often. Go into the shop and the 1975 Ford Maverick, and then they're like, no, we don't carry nothing like that for. Not even gonna look. No. Okay. Fuck you then. So yeah, they're like, we're not even. No. Just no. What's going on? Third Gen 83. There's our other guy who's got a Maverick. Gorgeous ride. Gorgeous ride. So basically, we're getting ready for car show season. Project Spirit needs a tune-up. Brand new plugs. I already gapped them myself. Real quick, I know they always tell you that these come pre-gapped, but from shipping and everything else, unless it's a modern vehicle, you don't bother. You don't bother. If it's a modern vehicle, okay? But with the old ones, like with Project Spirit's Inline 6, they will say that they're pre-gapped, ready to go from the factory. Well, there's a couple problems with that. Number one, the gaps on engine on these will change sometimes from year to year. So that pre-gap bullshit doesn't always apply in that case. Another problem is that when you're talking pre-gapped, they're going to get banged around, and in shipping. And even though the plugs themselves are fine, you bang, boom. I have had where I've actually taken these out of the box and the gap was so off. It was actually so close together that I had to kind of work it back where it was supposed to be. Yep, always. What's going on, Broken Mike? So, yep, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Always check this anyways. Again, it's super, super, super important that you do. Because if not, with those old carbureted engines, if you don't get this little, here, I'll show you the best I can. That little spot between that and that, if you don't get it right, your engine will run funny. I'm not sure how that works out on modern fuel injection. I am doing fantastic. We're just kind of talking about tune-up stuff. I'm on the home stretch of it. Of doing the tune-up stuff. We've already been filming it, and it's actually coming together really nice. Project Spirit's running a lot better. There for a little while, she was running a little funky. And I could tell it. She wasn't getting the gas mileage she was supposed to and all that other stuff. We also got to do oil change. She's long overdue for an oil change. For those who don't know, Third Gen 83 is actually a friend of mine, met here on YouTube. He was looking up Maverick stuff because he himself owns a 73, if I remember correctly, a 1973 Ford Maverick two-door. He owns a two-door version. And gorgeous ride. Over on his channel, he's got a couple of videos up of that ride. And you want to talk about a sweet-looking car. When a Maverick is fixed up, I don't care if it's two-door, four-door, they are gorgeous-looking cars. And he has a fine example of how neat those cars really look whenever they're, when they're done up right. Not a joke, folks. You want to talk about just breathtaking rides? That is the Maverick. And for the record, I'm actually a GM guy. I prefer General Motors cars from back in the day. More specifically, I prefer Oldsmobile, but right in behind it is Chevrolet. So more than anything, I mean, I know more about Chevy than I do Oldsmobile, but I love Oldsmobile. I love the rides of Oldsmobile, and I've had a couple of Oldsmobiles in my time. You want to talk about the sweetest rides you're ever going to get your hands on. If you want interesting performance, go to Pontiac. Um, Buick guys, I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan. Work on a couple of Buick 3.8 V6s from this country in the 1980s. I promise you, you will hate life. I'm not a fan of Buicks. They run a little backwards to my liking for a General Motors product. The distributor goes in the back of the engine, guys, on a GM, not in the front. Don't even get me started. So I am not a fan. Oh, yes. Well, he lives a good stretch across the U.S., but I know that Route 66 will take me very close to his neck of the woods. And we are looking, third gen, we want to take Project Spirit on a Route 66 tour. It's on my bucket list, a Route 66 tour. We want to take Project Spirit and do kind of a mini movie of the Mother Road. But yeah, and that'll bring me right into his neck of the woods. We will definitely have to do that. Definitely have to do that. Oh, that would be so much fun. But yes, he has oh my God, if you've never seen that car, oh my gosh, you guys should sneak over there to Third Gen 83's channel. He's only got a couple videos up, but that's his Maverick. First car he's ever had, and he's had it all these years. When'd you get that car? Oh, Chevy Malibu. Please tell me it was something out of the 60s and 70s, or even the 80s. I think they went on like 83 was like the last year for the Malibu, if I remember correctly. I'm telling you guys. Yes, they did. And my mom had a 70 Buick Skylark, and that thing we could never get that dang thing running right. Had the Buick 350 under the hood. You know the one I'm talking about, that Buick 350. Oh, those are all right. I'm not a big fan. That's when they went over to the front wheel drive stuff, and I'm just not a fan. You know, I like my rear wheel drive cars. I mean, that's where it's at. Oh, wow. So it only lasted a few years. Yeah. There we go. My first car was a 1971 Nova. My second car was a 78 Camaro. My third car was an 83 Caprice Classic. Next car was an 80 Chevy Malibu station wagon. Yep. Let's see. After the Malibu, 81. Okay, so yeah, you've had that car a long time. Mm-hmm. All right, Chairman, we're actually getting ready to wind down for the evening because I got some video stuff to work on. But we're talking, and then after the Malibu, I had a 77 Olds Delta 88 Chevy 350 under the hood. Chevy 350 under that hood. And I'm telling y'all right now, I know the 1970s sucked as far as performance goes, but that engine still had a lot of torque left in it. And oh my God, that thing was fun. I had so much fun in that thing. And it was actually my grandparents' car. It was a great car when you were in your 20s and you still had and you still won, because the generation I come from and always having my middle fingers out at the rest of the world. It was a great car for that. Yep. Oh yeah, 350 Chevy small block. Oh yeah. I kind of wished it had the Oldsmobile 350, but it didn't. But I bought it for my grandmother in great condition, and I bought it for $450 and bought it after my grandpa passed away because she basically took over my grandpa's, uh, you know, that's not an actual, you're talking the 455, but that made its way into the old Cutlass 442s. Oh, Lincoln Town Car. Oh my God, in pink. I've seen those. Very few of them, but I've seen them. I know the one you're talking about, the Lincoln Town Car. Yeah, those are actually all right. Big, heavy luxury cars. Oh wow, heading over to the gym, pumping that iron. But yeah, uh, I've even had my the car. I've even had an '83, and this was my first Ford I ever owned. An '83 Mercury Grand Marquis Colony Park station wagon. Oh my God. That thing was big. It was luxurious on the inside. Yep. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah, I know the type you're talking about. Those big old cars. My that old Mercury was cool because it actually had a fuel injected 302 in it. Oh, P-51 Mustang engine. Oh, good luck. Actually, there's some boneyards, some airplane boneyards around Arizona. Start checking there. Wow. My car, the window, if I haven't tested it in a while. Oh yeah, it was built like a tank. Um, Back in the day, the Mavericks, there was no child safety stuff in there. There was no child safety stuff when my car was new. In most cases, the back windows, you could roll them all the way down. Not this half window shit. Yep. That does not surprise me, Yauger. Doesn't surprise me. Those big luxury cars, you could do that stuff with. Yeah. They're built like tanks. Those big luxury cars, like that 77 Delta I was talking about. I love those big ones. Yep. Oh, yeah. It felt like you were always floating on air. Ironically enough, when you have good leaf springs underneath the car, like Spirit, even those small ones still rode like that. If you got good leaf springs under them, it's a very cushiony ride. You won't even hardly feel it. If you get you get that cushiony stuff going on. Yeah. Oh, really sweet ride. Really sweet ride. So, um, yep. You'll find that was around the time they started putting kind of silly stuff on them, more silly stuff than they did in the '70s. We had the original EGR equipment in the '70s on those old cars, and it was extremely restricted. Now, here's a little inside info that most people don't know about those '70s engines, especially the V8s of the time. Yeah, you'll catch a lot of that stuff where people put big engines on little things and they probably shouldn't. Yeah. But back in the '70s, we found out, even despite all the low compression engines, when they started putting the electronic ignition on those and you had a more consistent fire, if you removed all of the stupid EGR equipment, the pollution pumps, and you put in good exhaust manifold or exhaust manifolds and exhaust headers, or exhaust headers, and maybe put on an aluminum intake where for the 4-barrel carburetor, and just little stuff like that. Ironically enough, you found out very quickly that those 70s V8s, and in some cases the inline sixes, could actually do just as good as the mid-performance engines of the 1960s, and in some cases even better than the performance V8s of the 1960s. We found that out real quick. And I can know you all can, I know third gen 83 can tell you, oh yeah, those engines were solid, man. Ran great as soon as you got rid of all the EGR equipment, all that smog equipment, because just choked those engines is all it did. And as soon as you got rid of it, oh yeah, they ran great. Good on gas. They just ran good. They ran really good. And he'll even tell you that. I know he's probably still got the original engine for his sitting around, and I imagine it probably still turns over, and he wouldn't even have to do that much to it, and it would actually perform very well. It would actually keep up very well. And if you got a good transmission behind it, and good set of gears in the rear end, you'd be surprised with those actually ridiculous how damn powerful those little engines were. Those under low compression V8s really were actually damn good engines. But even then, even if you didn't even do that much, I'll give you an idea. Everyone I've ever talked to that had the Mavericks and the Mustang 2s that had the 302s in them from the factory, they only came with 2-barrel carburetors and had a lot of stupid BS on them. Ironically enough, everyone that I've ever talked to about when those cars were new, they're like, shoot, man, I went everywhere in that car sideways. And you're like, but that was only a 2-barrel carburetor with all the smog equipment on. Yeah, they still went everywhere sideways, sliding around corners and all that other stuff. They were still doing it. And because they just good, solid engines, a lot of holdover. Basically, we were starting to see things transition. And by the 1980s, we've seen some very horrible injection play. And it wasn't until like 1987 that fuel injection actually was decent. It was actually starting to become decent. But fuel injection really did not come into its own until like early 2000. And then about 2006, it went the other direction. That's why if anybody asks me what's best time frame to get a good fuel injection vehicle, 2000, 2006. That's best time to get it. And they're actually ridiculously easy to fix up. There's really not that much to them, to be honest with you. They're good engines, if you from around that time frame. It's good stuff, good stuff. We'll have to do another live stream where we fire up Project Spirit. And again, if you're fairly new to the Prince Magnum channel, you can actually all of my videos almost all of my videos have Project Spirit blazing through the at the opening anymore. Ruck and Mike, have you never heard Project Spirit start up? Have you never heard Project Spirit start up in a stream? Meowgrid, you too. Have you never heard Project Spirit start up in a stream? Don't remember? You don't remember? I honestly think that if you did, all right. Okay, so it's been a while for you. Broken Mike, Chairman, you rest up, buddy. I know you've been in a lot of pain these days, but rest well. So, Broken Mike, I can honestly say that if you did hear it, you would remember. You would remember that. All right, come on. We'll do this one time, folks. Tonight. It's getting late. I don't want to, scare the neighbors. Actually, most everyone, when they hear that car start up, they're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll go down. We'll go down. If I can find my key. Oh, keys are in the bedroom. Ian, why'd you let me forget my keys? Ooh, I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. Hang on here. You think, but honestly, well, there we go. All right, we're going to run through the bases real quick. By the way, gift from our boy, 3rd Gen 83. And there you have it, the world's most annoying sound ever. All right, real quick. This key is to unlock the steering wheel, okay? Without that key there, you cannot move that steering wheel. So there you go. There's that. Oh, yeah. Hey, buddy. Over here, that's to the ignition. But that doesn't start her. That just sends the power to the starter so we could do this. Right? That is so much fun. I'm telling you, I love that stuff. I love that stuff. Not bad for an old car. A lot of fun to drive. I always tell everybody, I live for the days I get to go driving, my classic. I look forward to it. It's like a highlight, Get rid of that damn bug. Yeah, no joke, man. About one of the most annoying things in the entire world. Yeah, Ian's more of a fan of Project Lena. Project Lena is, like I said, 2003 Pontiac Grand Am GT. Actually, she's kind of a funny thing that she's getting there. She's developing a new exhaust leak. That's why we're just going to go ahead and pull everything out. There's no sense in messing with it right now. Where the downpipe goes like that? She's developing one there. Come on, we're talking exhaust. It's like, yeah, she's starting to do it there. It's actually really funny. But yeah, what are you gonna do, right? She's old. We got to fix things still. But we're going to be dealing with that when we go do the engines and swap anyways. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. So that's kind of where that stands. But she is slowly developing a new exhaust leak. Slowly. There you go. What'd you think, Broken Mike? Yep. It's part of having a project car. There's no such thing as an end to the project. Um, oh, not a problem, Mike. Not a problem. Enjoyed it. You know, cars like that. I mean, I have fun driving her. Um, there's been days that I'll come out of, when I was still with the other location, I'll come out of work and I'm really mad, and it's like I'm done. I'm done. I'll get into Project Spirit. I'll drive home, and I'm okay again. Until that one day that it was out of hand, and I'd been dealing with this stuff for like 6 years, and I'm like, I'm done here. I basically told the owner operators, I want to work for you guys. I like working for you guys, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not working here in this location. You could send me as far away as Chester, Illinois. I don't care. Which that's like a couple hours drive. I said, you could send me that far away. I don't care. I'm just not working in this location. And I said, at any moment during this conversation, you try to tell me it's going to be okay to go ahead and go back in there. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. I said, I'm not working for you at that point. And they're like, wow, that bad, huh? I said, yeah, I'm done. I said, they're like, boy, they must have really ticked you off. I said, you ain't a kidding. I said, yeah, I'm done. And they're like, wow, how bad do they got to piss you off? And evidently the witch hunt was on after I left there. So, like, dang you guys, you know. So I drive her a half an hour one way every day to work, and she does all right on gas. Um, you know, she does pretty good. Does pretty good. Um, Still fun to drive. Unfortunately, when I come out of work, if I have to go pick up gas or stop at the store or anything like that, you might as well say it's going to take a minute, because as soon as that car pulls up, because where I live, there's so immediately, it's like I haven't seen one of those in years, and you will spend a good while. And I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be one of those guys, because even though, I'm part of the classic car community, some of us are not so doggone friendly. It sucks. But I'll pull up somewhere and, oh, I haven't seen one of these in years. And then, you're like, yeah, this is Project Spirit, on YouTube, and, it's still daily driven, a lot of fun to drive. And, and you're there for a minute because everybody wants to talk about it. And they're a lot of fun. So you've never, you know, I will say right now that I am grateful that I get to drive a classic car every day. um, and I don't care it's a four door. Oh man, whew, I'm all right. Mm, that cough actually hurt a little bit. Oh, I'm grateful that I get to drive a classic car every day. I don't like the way the new ones feel. I don't like all the push button technology. I don't need all of that. Give me something that I can get behind the wheel of and just cruise down the road, whether it's to work, to the grocery store, whatever. Give me something I can enjoy. Give me something I can work on. And that's what I enjoy. Hands down, bar none, I enjoy it. Enjoy the classics. And, I'll even tell you that Project Lena is actually too new for my taste. Nothing wrong with Project Lena. Project Lena is a nice car to drive. But compared to what I prefer, not even close. Princess Faye loves driving Project Lena. Project Lena is a good car. She needs some TLC, no question about it. But I will tell anybody that um, I know what I like, and that's just me. I know what I like. Ooh, some good coffee. I got to pick some more up tomorrow. But that's just it in a nutshell. So we've got some more tune-up stuff to do. We'll be doing videos on it and things like that. But if I get the opportunity to live stream, changing spark plugs so you guys can kind of see it happening, I'll do it for you. But there's no guarantee on that. Um, I'm actually off Thursday, so I know we've got Sober Talk Thursday, and we have what's today? Today's Wednesday. So I'm sorry, I'm off Friday. I'm off Friday. So we've got Sober Talk tomorrow. I kept thinking it was Tuesday. I don't know why. So I got Sober Talk tomorrow, and then we've got the Storm King later that night, along with a dungeon for Save the World Fortnite. That's definitely on the plate. Friday, of course, Faye's Corner, unless Princess Faye's not feeling up to it. But I know that we're probably going to go out later that day. I've got some filming to do that day as well. No, I'm sorry, we're doing that tomorrow. I've got some filming to do that, Friday. So we're going to be in and out. We'll see a lot of you as much as we can Friday. So if you guys are streaming, I'll be in and out as much as I can to see all of you. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So we're going to stay pretty busy over the course of the next couple days. And of course, Saturday, Cinnamon will be here. Cinnamon will be live and having a good time with all of us. Going to be a lot of fun. Lots and lots and lots of fun. So Cinnamon will be here with us Saturday. I know Miyagrid is already looking forward to it. Ian doesn't like to talk about it. Actually, he did say that the one of the last Cinnamon live streams he was in on, he had a good time. And of course, Sunday we might see about doing an upload. Depends on what I've got going on. Monday upload definitely, and Tuesday, this coming next Tuesday, Broken Mike and I will be doing a collab stream together for the pre-show for Tuesday Night Madness. I'm looking forward to this. That's the more family-friendly part of the show, and yeah, no, just no. That is the more family-friendly part of the Tuesday Night Madness. I will have the challenge during that part of the show of keeping it PG. The challenge for me is basically for comedy purposes. I've come up with a bunch of stuff that I use in Fortnite when I'm in stream. I'm excited about it, Mike. It's going to definitely be interesting. But basically for Tuesday Night Madness collab for the pre-show, I'm looking forward to it. Normally we don't stream on Tuesdays, but it'll be an opportunity for some of the people that is on Broken Mike's channel to kind of come over, see what we do, and then for some of the people on my channel, go over and see what Broken Mike does. Because we do a little bit of everything, really. We some crazy cats over here. We play with power tools. Yeah. Oh, got to do it. Hey, Ian, can I ask you a question? No, I'm teasing. Oh, and this is only a drill. What? So it's been a hell of. So I'm definitely, I'm looking forward to the challenge of doing a PG Fortnite stream. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. So that's pretty much the week ahead of us. Again, we spent a little bit of time. I got sidetracked early in the stream talking about a video project. But I got to answering questions. But then we got down to actually talking about cars. Again, I've already done a good part of the tune-up to Project Spirit, but don't worry, we got a little bit more left to do, and we'll go into detail on that. Most likely in a video, because it's easier for me to explain everything in a video than it is in a live stream, because a lot happens in a live stream, and sometimes you miss things, you miss details. So, alrighty, so that does bring us to a good stopping point for the evening. Again, I didn't get a chance to put the link up. It was kind of quick. It was kind of a quick deal where I had to and hit a bunch of buttons. And then, no, we're live. So, all right, Pinkers, you have a good night. So as we begin to wind down for the stream, if you're not, oh, I'm glad you were here, Meaghan. If you're not familiar, over on the Prince Magnum channel, kind of home page for YouTube, basically when you go in, you want to look up certain videos on the channel, whatever, there is now a link to the Teespring store. So if you want your own Project Spirit logo coffee cup, t-shirt, whatever, Ian's gotten some of the stuff and he's been doing unboxings of like hoodies and blankets from the Teespring store. I'm glad you made it too. You got to hear Project Spirit run. You'll have to talk about it at Tuesday Night Madness. We'll definitely talk about Sounds of the 70s. But if you want your own stuff like this, get over to the Teespring store. If you want to be able to put back all the proceeds, go back into the Prince Magnum channel, and we'll go towards the project cars and God knows what other crazy stuff we got going on. Oh, gosh dang. There you go. Which brings us, so beyond that point, so if you want to support the channel, check out the Teespring store. All righty. So that brings us to the spot where I get to sit because I got to go get something to drink because my throat's dry and it's making me cough a lot. My sinus has been acting up. It hasn't been doing that to y'all. Hey, Elias, we're actually getting ready to wind down. That's always a happy number there, Ian. That's always a happy number. But anyhow, that brings us to the spot where I say to all of you, get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is. Just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. Pollen for me. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.